Vinita, I'm letting people in.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Val-Ed ಅವ್ರ್ದು ಕಣ ಇದು.
Hello.
ನಾಯಿ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೇಡ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ನಾನು 6:30ವರೆಗೂ ಸಾಯ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನಿರು.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hello, may I start? Um, so I'm Kripa. I'm from Val-Ed Initiatives. I am going to be the host today to make sure everything goes well. Thank you so much for taking some time of your Saturday evening to be with us and know more about parenting. I'm so happy that all of you have taken the effort to join us and be here mindfully. So today, before we start, I have a few announcements. If you would like to, if you would like to have your camera switched on, and if you feel comfortable, please go ahead. We would love to see responses. Your reactions are what feeds us to, go forward, and that's what gives us more encouragement. And also, parents, please mute yourself in case if you're not muted already. The sessions should go uninterrupted and get you the best results. Yeah. Also, parents, I would like if you could name yourself, your name underscore your children's school names. Can we do that?
You want us to put it in chat box?
No, just name yourself. Your name itself underscore your students, your kids' schools. Whichever school your kid is from, please name it like that. So your name underscore school's name. Please name yourself, not in the chat box.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Parents, again, I'm repeating, I would like if you would name yourself, not put it in the chat box, your own name underscore your child's school name. So we could identify it and it will be easier for us to see where all the participants are from and who all are there, just for our own encouragement.
I'm Shweta, Namatsu's mother, NPS Kengeri.
Shweta ma'am, the name that we are seeing on your screen is Shweta P. It will be great if you could just change it from Shweta underscore NPS Kengeri. That's all we are asking for.
Okay, sure. Got
Thank
it.
you. Kripa, let them
Yes,
rename themselves.
Chandrakala ma'am. Yes. I'm seeing all those
Yeah.
changes. Yes, thank you, Dainanand. Thank you. Tensar. Thank you, Impala ma'am.
Ma'am, actually, can you repeat once again what we have to do?
I would like it if you guys would rename yourself. Put your name first and then put an underscore and then where your child is studying, the school's name. I can see Chandrakala TN
Madam, how we
underscore
can do that?
Chitrakuta school. You can rename yourself, sir. In the settings, you will find a more button and yeah. Yes, Rakesh sir. Exactly like that, but rename yourself instead of putting it in the chat box. Okay, thank you so much for everyone who has joined. I warmly welcome you to this session. I would like to start off the session by introducing our guest speaker, Mr. Anup Erakil. So he's going to be conducting our session today, Discipline Without Damage. I would like to say some few words about Anup. Anup is a parent, educator, and learning designer with over a decade of experience working closely with children, teachers, and families. He has been part of the founding teams of multiple education startups and has designed training programs that have reached more than 3 lakh teachers across 20,000 schools. His work focuses on creating learning and parenting approaches that are rooted in empathy, respect, and child centered understanding. So, if you guys are ready, shall we start, Arnob? So, handing it over to Anup, and yeah, all the best.
So, hi everyone. So, thank you so much for coming today. And so, I think beyond the introduction, I myself am a parent. I have a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old in my home. And I can say for sure, all of us are trying hard. As a parent, I'm in the same journey as all of you are. And what I'm trying to do, what we are going to do today, I think I'm not trying to tell or share more information than that we already are getting as parents, because one thing I realize as parents, so if I need information, there's a lot out there, right? So from Instagram reels to podcast to books and everything, so there's a lot we can get and we have been getting as parents. Now the confusion is practically in a day-to-day situation, what should I be doing, right? So I think what I'm trying to do today is share that process rather than too much information. Okay, so a couple of things, from, some expectations from my end. It'll be great if some people can share. Some of you can share. I know most of us are at home, daily household work is happening, some of us may be traveling, but as much as possible, if you keep the videos on and if you can interact either in the chat or when I ask a question or when we have some sharing, that'll be great. And feel free to share in whatever language you're comfortable. So आप हिंदी में बात करना है तो हिंदी में बात कर सकते हैं, कन्नड़ा, तमिल, I can understand. I'm hoping I'm opening it up so that you're comfortable sharing as well. Right. And I'll be using, so you can see on the screen, just quickly checking the screen or Kripalik. So the screen that's present right now is the slides, right? Or is it me speaking?
No, I can see the slides. You can go ahead.
Okay, okay. Right. So, yeah, so I just wanted to start off with that. So all of us are trying hard. This is an attempt to make it a little more better. And we know the topic is called discipline. And we all know it's a difficult thing. So just wanted to acknowledge that and start off. Just a moment. Right. You can see the slides change, no? It works?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
it's visible.
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
We
Okay,
can
right.
see you.
Okay, so what I wanted to start off was basically this. Like, if you can see on the screen, there's a lot of things where that comes to mind when we say the word discipline. Now, what I wanted you to share is, can you think of the single most challenging thing or the most common thing that comes up in your home with your child from what you see on the screen? Feel free to share by voice or type away in the chat from what you see in terms of behavior of the child, from what I've shared on screen or otherwise. I did get a chance to read a lot of questions you shared also. Can you share what is the most common or the most frustrating thing for you that you see in your child? Yelling, arguing. I can see in the chat. Feel free to type away in the chat. Impulsivity, not listening, time management, screaming, ignoring, yelling, delaying, not listening, tantrums. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Okay, not listening. So I think every third or fourth one is not listening. Um, Not listening, arguing, interrupts. Okay, I was also looking through the questions that came in with the registration, and I tried to sort it. I think about 45%,
Yeah.
50% of the questions were centered around not listening. And I hear that very often when we talk about discipline. Not listening the first time itself becomes like the most frustrating thing for me personally. Also, I can share. So especially with my 5-year-old. Um, so that and many other things. So time sense, not listening is coming. If you're looking at the chat, and people can share also. Yes. You may unmute and share, or can directly type away. Okay. Great. Okay.
There's a
So,
lot of distraction as well. So that leads to not listening.
okay, you're going to why they are not listening, right? Okay. So we'll try and touch upon. Thank you, Harsh, for sharing. We'll try and touch upon. We'll try and understand this piece. Anyone else wants to share quickly, or I can keep. So we have enough responses and a lot of not listening, talking back, yes, screaming, delaying, arguing.
Sharmila Shankar has raised her hand. Ma'am, do you want to say
Okay.
something? Sharmila, ma'am?
So I think we'll quickly. I think we'll keep it open for people. Just unmute and share off because there's a large number of people. It may be difficult to keep tracking also. So I'll take it from here. So we have a lot of responses, and I think all of us relate to that. Now the next one for me, we can look at it. This is again some honest sharing from your end that is required. Like, what is the most common reaction or action from your side as a parent? Like the most common. Let's just pick one. Similarly, you can chat away, or if you want to talk, just unmute and directly share. It can be anything that you see on in the word cloud there. It's like this is I've gathered this from a lot of parent questions as well as like most commonly seen. Distraction, yelling, scolding. Scolding, lecturing, okay, negotiate, moralizing. So you're picking from the word cloud that you're saying, like, okay, logical consequence, try to calm the situation, lecturing, sometimes time out, bribing, used to work earlier but doesn't work now. Yeah, as they grow older, yes, yelling, distracting. Yeah, I see yelling, scolding, distracting a lot. So I sometimes accepting, okay, sometimes just walk out, not reacting immediately. Gentle parenting never works. Beating. Okay. Now, just one more slide of word clouds. I know a lot of words, and I just wanted to understand if all of us relate. So I think not listening and not obeying being like a major expectation. And then at our end, from whatever I'm reading in the chat, it's there's a mix. There's a good mix. I can see some of us are reacting with yelling or shouting or trying to do um, whatever we can to make them listen or distract them or find different ways to do it. I think little harshly. That's what I'm seeing from what you're sharing. So quickly, in terms of feelings, again, need not share. I'll just quickly go through the. So, like one very important thing that I want all of us to be aware at this point is, irrespective of what the child's reaction is and what our reaction is, I think in a discipline scenario, in any situation that involves disciplining, both of us feel the same feelings, I guess. Like your child is frustrated for some reason and you're reacting to it because you're frustrated. And it seems to me like a cycle or a loop that keeps going on. Right. So we'll move on to the content part of it. Okay. So we know and we are experiencing this, I think, literally on a day-to-day basis. Even as I was getting into the call, I had to talk something to my son as well to make sure the room is quiet here and they're not disturbing. So this is a real life day-to-day problem for all of us. Now I just wanted to share, just quickly look at the slides I'm sharing next. Okay, so based on whatever you have shared in terms of the behavior initially, so we talked about behavior, and all of you shared certain behaviors that your child is doing that causes indiscipline, right? Now I wanted to look at the next slide that I'm sharing here. Just put a thumbs up in the chat if your child is in this age group that you see in the slide. Is your child between 3 years to 5 years, 6 years to 9? Just drop a thumbs up so that I know it's relevant for you, and just silently read through it for a minute. So say, for example, saying no, if you can look at the preschooler, 3 to 5 year old. Now, if a 3 to 5 year old is saying no to everything, does that happen? Quite common, I guess, right? Because my child is 5, he just turned 5 last month, but then we've gone through that phase recently, right? I know my 9-year-old also does say no, but a 3 to 5 year old saying no is usually happens in a situation when they don't want to listen to you, right? Turn off the TV, no. Come, enough playing, come take a bath, no. Eat your food properly, no, right? Um, so verbally or otherwise, there's a lot of no or not listening happening. But if you look back at their developmental level, right? At what stage, at what age is it normal? So I think scientifically, like technically, it is normal for a child to say no. At between 3 to 5, it's very normal. If a 6 to 9 year old is still saying that, they still have a few things to figure out, right? But if you look at the first, can you see what's the first behavior in the 6 to 9 year category? Talking back. I think I saw that as well in some of the behavior. So talking back is a normal behavior if it's a 6 to 9 year old who's doing that, right? By the time they're 10, 11, 12, I'm moving on to the next slide so that it's relevant. I'm hoping, are there any teenage parents here, any tweens, teenager parents here? A quick thumbs up so that I know, okay, there are parents for whom this is also relevant.
Yes.
Yes, yes, I see that. Okay, okay, because I saw a few questions through the registration form also about teenagers' behavior. So, right, so if you look at this, something like eye rolling or questioning everything or wanting privacy, it's a normal behavior. So the reason I'm showing this and I'm putting some time for you to go through this is because so this I think we'll find a way to share these as well for you to refer. But the idea was to say it is normal, so it is okay if your child is doing this. Now what we need to work on is uh, so this technically seems to be normal, it is okay for them to do. So what possibly we need to work on is the reaction part of it and the feelings part of it for both us as a parent and the child. Now, fully acknowledge
Yeah.
that as parents we are overwhelmed and we may not, it
Yeah.
may not be easy for us to stay calm always or use very gentle techniques or strategies always. But I just wanted to make sure all of you understand that the behavior part of the child is expected. So there's nothing wrong with the child if they are saying no or if they are rolling their eyes or if they are talking back or questioning you. Is that acceptable? Can you are you able to accept that as a fact? Just show me a thumbs up or a smiley quickly so that I know, okay, we are on the same page and we can move on next to what to do about it. Okay, 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 coming in. Thank you so much. So now we get to the game. Okay, I'll try and whatever I shared so far. So when I say a behavior is normal, um, this is what I mean, right? It's a missing skill for the child. So if a child is saying no or is not listening, right? So there's something missing. A skill is missing for them. So we'll try and find out what those skills are. But what you see in the slide is basically to convey that, okay, uh, you see 4 skills I mentioned. There are a lot of skills that is required to obey something or do something and finish something on time or get something done fast, right? Regulation is one, impulse control is another, transition, patience. So these are just 4 skills. So now you need not remember all these names. Now this class is not for you to remember all the names of all these skills or developmental levels. We'll get into a very practical uh, way of solving it or trying to solve it for you, right? So one thing I wanted to highlight is like this missing skill is there for the children as well as for us, right? Can you can I agree and I can confess to that because I yell when my child yells, right? When my child talks back, I talk back to them, right? When I am angry, I shut the door and walk out, and I have seen my child do that as well. So it seems to be like a mirror image reflection of whatever we are doing. So either we are copying the child or the child is copying us. Either one of this is true. My daughter always makes fun of, she's almost 10 years now, she makes fun of me saying it's not that children learn from grown-ups. Grown-ups learn from children. Grown-ups are copying children always. And then she points out to these instances where we are angry. Either me and my wife is angry and we are having an argument, the same thing happens. There is talking back, there is closing doors, there is one person walking out. So from the child's point of view, I think I can speak for myself. I am missing a lot of skills when it comes to a overwhelming situation or an angry or a sad situation, right? So my regulation is not in control for me, or my impulse control when I'm driving and there's somebody cutting the car. Like I'm most angry when I'm driving. That's another thing my child has noticed and told me. Right, I use sometimes bad words, or I yell or shout while driving more than any other time. Right, so my impulse control seems to be off in certain situations. So I'm just trying to say, like, so the same thing that we struggle with, the child is also struggling with. And if I go back to any of this, right, any of this behavior, when if a grown up does this, we say it's not normal, but then we continue to do this, like whatever a teenager is doing or whatever is a 7-year-old is doing, a 30-year-old, 40-year-old also continues doing, because that skill is missing. Like some skill is missing. So we'll try and figure out what that skill is, right? So we'll stop looking at discipline as a problem in the first place. So discipline is actually a opportunity. That's how I wanted to put it across today, right? So discipline is an opportunity, and for that we need to understand something very simple, which is the story of a behavior, right? If my child is not behaving or is misbehaving, like what is the story behind that? So that we will get into and see if it makes sense. So what I share next, if it's making sense, please do drop a thumbs up or a message in the chat. Or if you have any questions, I can pause and we can take it as well. So we are saying discipline is not a problem, it's an opportunity. We'll see how. And for that, we need to understand the behavior story, right? And this, I'll just pause a minute for you to look through this and see if it's making sense, right? So just a thumbs up once you have gone through the A and B, C. Just a thumbs up will help, so that I know many of you have seen it, and then I can share a bit more. If it's too small, I'll read it as well if some of you are looking at it on the phone. So we are talking about the story of behavior. Now the B is actually the third piece here that you see on the screen, right? So that behavior is what is troubling us or frustrating us: not listening, talking back, yelling, screaming, hitting, biting, throwing food, not obeying, all of this, right? Now the story of the behavior talks about A and the N before the B and a C that happens afterwards. Okay. Now the A is actually the activating event. So a behavior doesn't start just like that, right? So if a child is behaving, or I am behaving in a certain way, there is something that happened before that is causing this behavior. So A is the antecedent or the activating event. So what happened before the behavior? Now, N is an important piece. I will, with the next slide, we'll get some more clarity. So N is something I'm calling the underlying need. Now, I'll give you an example. I want one or two of you to share or like type away in the chat. So no, there was a time when my child was 4 year old, between 4 and 5 years. Every day he would ask for ice cream with gulab jamun. Okay. And there would be a tantrum over that. Why do you think he's doing that? Is it because he needs ice cream? You can type yes if you think it's because he needed ice cream. Like ice cream is very tasty and he's addicted to sugar and he needs ice cream. So he used to cry and throw a tantrum every day for a long time that he wants ice cream with gulab jamun. So if you think yes, it's because he needs ice cream that he's throwing a tantrum, type away yes. If you think no, it's not because of the ice cream, you can type no, or you can type the reason. Why else would he want and cry for an ice cream every day? Yeah, I see no. Okay, seeking attention, definitely no. A lot of no's, okay. Oh no, okay, nobody thinks it's because of the ice cream. Because I thought, okay, today if I buy ice cream, okay, I'll accept it and he'll be happy. No, he was not. Okay, no. Okay. Okay, because there's a lot of no's coming, please also try and share why do you think it's not the ice cream? Then what else do you think it is about? My son asked for badam because he feels like eating due to boredom. Okay. Somebody else also mentioned attention seeking. Any other reason? Behavior. That's the behavior. The behavior is like crying for ice cream. Time that the child gets with parent, proving their point. Okay. Few things are coming up. I think let's wait for one or two to go out. Okay. So, okay. Habit. Okay. So there's some varied thoughts coming in, and again, so let me tell you, like I'm not going to say right or wrong because I'm not here to check whether you know or whether I'm telling the right things or to point out if something is wrong is happening. Needs parents' attention. So I see needing attention. Don't understand between need and likes. Habit wants attention. It's something that he wants everyone to listen whatever they say. Okay, somewhere he saw somebody eating, laziness. Okay, so yes, so we are able to think beyond this. Okay, so now we know the need. Now if I go back to the slide and look at A and B, C, the need is an underlying need. So the need is not what they say. They say I want to buy a cycle now, or I want ice cream now, or I want to go meet some like this cousin, a friend now, right? The what they're saying out is not the need. There is some reason behind it. This much I think, from whatever you have shared, I can understand. All of you agree that so there's a reason or there's something beneath what the child wants. Okay, they know we can provide them something they feel like but not really need to eat. Okay, right. So now this need is what results in the behavior. Now think of it. Okay, so there's some activating event. Now for the ice cream question, what do you think the activating event was? Like somebody said they saw somebody eating ice cream, but every day they're not seeing anybody eating ice cream. You're not going to a shop, they're not seeing any advertisement, but something is happening before that makes him need or ask for an ice cream. And then when that need is not met, the behavior changes. Sweet tooth which triggers could be okay. Right, now let's come back to the thing. So advertisement. Okay, right. So there, so that A, the activating event could be anything. Which cravings? Okay, assurance from parents they'll get it tomorrow. Okay, right. Now the need, we are saying what the child is telling is not the need. Right, now this is a 4-year-old, so they are able to tell. If it's a 2-year-old, they'll not be able to tell. They'll probably be throwing things or crying, or they'll lie down on the floor and cry, or they roll on the floor. Right. If it's a 6, a 7, 8, or 9-year-old, they'll show it in some other way. Right? But basically, I think all of us agree that what the child is showing or saying is not the actual reason. There's some reason behind it. And if they are not able to get that or achieve that, there's some change in behavior. Right? And if that behavior happens, then there's a consequence. We are seeing that. Right? Now, the consequence, we went back to the slide to say, okay, we yell, we shout, we try to distract them, we sometimes use some gentle tactics, a lot of things that we do. Okay, now yeah, I'm glad so many of you are still put typing away in the chat. He wants a change in mood. Okay, so we'll take a pause to the why there, but what we all agree is the need that you see in A and B, C in the behavior story is not what they verbally ask or verbally show, right? That becomes a behavior problem for us, right? Now, if you look at it,
తాత ఏం లేవు ఉండలేను ఈరోజు ఏమి చదవక
so now if you look at age-wise, right? If you look across your child's age or look across all the age groups, we are saying certain behaviors we saw earlier, which we agree as misbehavior, and the yellow boxes that you see is basically the what we call a developmental need for the child. Okay, just you can take a few seconds, read through it. I'll quickly share for the teenagers as well what it looks like. Right. So, for example, if there is a meltdown or a big emotion, the child is actually crying. Um, if I look at the yellow box, okay, a child who's 3 to 5 years needs predictability. Okay, they need a choice and control over what they are doing or how they are doing. Okay, they need some time to process. So even if we say no, they may need time to process. So that is their need. They may need validation. Okay, you love ice cream, and um, I also know that you like ice cream, and we had ice cream on your birthday, right? Now, I'm not promising I will buy you ice cream right away, or I'm not saying shut up right now. Today, I cannot. You know, it's already dark. I cannot. I'm just validating. So maybe for a 3 to 5 year old, what they need is probably a validation. Okay, you, Appa or Amma is hearing, listening to me. They are not obeying me. I cannot threaten them or cry and threaten them to get things for me, but they actually understand that I like ice cream, and that is why I'm asking. So validation, right? So similarly, if you look for the tweens and teenagers, so if you look across, I think across age groups, there may be some needs that are common, but a lot of it, depending on the age of the child, it keeps changing. Because as they grow older, their ability to control their feelings or impulses more, right? So by the time they're 12 or 13, they may not be crying for ice cream, or they may need something else, but they'll not cry and ask for it. They'll have some other way to ask for it, right? Some way of manipulation which we might have used with them, some way of threatening us or bribing us or telling nice things about us for them to hear a yes from us, right? So so we are looking at behaviors, we are looking at needs. If I go back to the A and BC model now, the behavior story is incomplete without the need, right? So the need and the behavior are directly related, because that makes it a misbehavior. And then if we understand that, what do we do next, right? So if we understand the need, what do we do next? So what we'll do for the next, I think for rest of the session, we can actually do this. And I wanted to take some inputs from all of you as well. A lot of questions also had come in. So you can try and be a little more participative. Use this opportunity to share, and let's try and create a few stories for the behavior a child is having, right? So what you see now, for example, I have written an example for a 0 to like a 2 year old. This is something very common I see, because I have a niece now. She's just turned 1 year old. So she's in that stage of holding and walking, right? So climbing the stairs is her favorite adventure. And the most number of no that comes in the house is when she's around. Okay. So let's try and look at the A and BC story or the lens for this behavior. Okay. So climbing the stairs is a behavior that we are scared of as a parent. Okay. Now, if my child is saying, or if my child is not listening to me when I say, no, don't climb the stairs, do you think this could be the need? So this one, so their need is not to climb the stairs, right? So their need is exploration. For a 0 to 2 year old, if I go back to what developmental need they have, they want to explore with their hands and legs, because it's growing stronger each day. So they've started walking now, they're climbing now. So climbing stairs is something personally for them, is a need, right? So what happens when we say no? Now I can see, we can call it a misbehavior. If they say, okay, this child is not listening at all, I'll have to go take her away because it's not safe, for whatever reasons, like we do that's the behavior that the child shows, and that's the reaction we have. So now look at the last part. Okay, the C is the consequence. Now if we see the behavior, we have a choice basically. So we'll look at examples one by one. Now in this case, um, there are three choices the parent has. The first one is, of course, we call it control. So you can say no, stop. You can say no 100 times. You can go near her and say no. You can yell no. And if they don't listen, even if she's crying, you can go pick her up and come out. Right? Um, Anyone in that bucket? Anyone who's done that? Like I've done that. But a quick thumbs up or a chat message to say if that's something you have done before, right? For your child's age. Yes, yes. Okay, relatable, right? Like, I think it's a very, very relatable example, and uh, a very relatable consequence or reaction from any parents, especially as a new parent, if you have a 1 year old or somebody who's just With their first child. Okay, yes. Okay, great, great. I see those responses. Now, if we can read the second response. The second option is correction, which is I can tell, okay, listen, the stairs are dangerous, you're too small, you could fall, which is why I'm saying, please come down, right? So, not yelling, I can probably be a little calm, or I can pretend to be a calmer and tell this. Anyone who's attempted this? Yes, I can see some nodding, some thumbs up. Yes, yes, yes. Right. To what, if it has worked, just give me a thumbs up here, or if it's not worked, a thumbs down.
અને
Like,
સોઈલે મને એટલે સપોર્ટ કરે છે કેમ કે એને ખબર છે ઈ એમ કહે છે કે મને
right. So I'm asking, so if you have yelled, I'm sure it hasn't stopped, or there might be like a temporary control. If you have done any correction techniques, sometimes works, yes, but not worked. Okay. So the second one is when at least I am not angry, I'm trying to be calm and I'm trying to tell and make them understand. Okay. Now can you look at the third one? So the first one is control. First choice is control, and which is usually reactive from our end. The second choice is correction, which requires some patience from our end. And the third one is connection. So anyone who's tried that, has it worked? Has it not worked? I do that too. Okay, tried and worked. Right. Okay. So that's enough validation, I think. So, but the numbers are reducing from what I see. So, the number of thumbs up or yes I saw initially was more, and correction worked for me, right? Control also works actually. Like I can vouch for that. When I'm angry and when I'm at my worst, my child obviously listens to me. That also works. Now we come back to the title of the session that we started off with. So we're talking about discipline without the damage, right? So I think it's very pretty obvious for all of us when that damage can happen, in which choice the damage can happen. So as a parent, I have, as a child, when I was a child, I have also gone through the same level of control and I've been disciplined. As a new parent, I've also tried. The easiest thing to do is react immediately, show them you're in charge, raise your voice. You're big and bulky, they're so small, you can just take them and shake them like this and they may still like stop doing that. But if it's very obvious that that is damaging, then we move on to the other two options or more options. Situation or a new example from yours, like, so if anybody is willing to share, you can actually type in the chat or share one situation that you're facing with your child. We can maybe try and see from this behavior story lens. I'll pause for a minute. Let's see if anyone is coming up with or wants to use this opportunity to look at it together.
Lot of deviations I can see, and focus is very less when they are doing any activities. So let's say if they are studying, they would like to do dance, or if they want to do a dance practice, they'll not be fully focused and they want to do other activities. And it's
Okay,
like they're not very focused.
So from what you're sharing, they are not focused or they're deviating. Would you call that, could you call that as a behavior problem, or because of that some behavior has happened, like some repeated behavior is happening? And also please do share your child's age so it's relevant.
Yeah, she is like, she'll be turning 6 for coming Jan.
Okay.
like last year and all, I didn't face this actually. Like I can tell this from last 1 month. Let's say her handwriting was so beautiful. Okay, she used to follow all the line rules, do her work very neatly. But nowadays, if she has to write one line, she will erase 3 to 4 times minimum, so that she can write well in the fifth time, because I have to keep on telling, yeah, you have to follow the line rule,
Right.
do
So
it.
this is Harshita speaking, no?
Yeah,
Right.
yes.
Okay. I saw that. Okay. Right. So I was also trying to go back to this slide and see, okay, like from that 6 to 9 years, is there something you can relate to? Like, why do you think, or what that need is? Like, for example, for erasing and writing 5 times and making it look really good, or trying and doing many things and not like sticking to one thing. If you look at the yellow box, can you think of what could be the reason? You're muted, Harshita. But so we'll try this, because like I said, no right or wrong answers, but we're trying to see if this makes sense. Right. So anything that you think your child as a 6-year-old, there is a need, underlying need that we are not seeing when they are behaving this way.
Like even I spoke to her class teacher, right? She told it's due to age. It's okay. She's growing, she's developing. That's the reason you are able to see all these things. That's what the answer I got. Even I'm also trying to figure it out. For what reason she is behaving or doing this.
Okay. Right. So again, so maybe I also may not be able to give a straight cut answer. More like nothing more straight than this, in the sense, okay, it is developmentally there is a need. I think from what you shared, there's validation that's coming into picture. So what I'm doing, is it the best? Like what others will think about it? Or if I'm doing dance and music and karate and something, like where do I get the most validation from? It could be, but definitely I think I'm also in sync with what the teacher said. So the need is actually arising because of where they are developmentally. Right. So if we agree to this, then if I come back to like this cycle of like an A and B C, right now what you shared is a pattern, is how they are now. Now, if a particular behavior, for example, if I take the example of like, so they're not completing the work, they're just repeatedly trying to make it better, right? But your expectation is they should complete it. So that is what you want, right? So your need is something different from their need at this age. You as a mother, your need is different from what a 6-year-old's validation need is, right? So then what could the consequences be, or what is the choice I can make, right? How do I prepare myself for that? Right. So I'm not even typing away anything right now. I'm just proposing, okay, if you have this model and you've heard from others, from teachers also, that okay, it is because of a age. Now why because of the age? Because there's a developmental need. So that is the end we are trying to define, right? Now for a 6-year-old, it could be autonomy, like you don't tell me what to do, I will decide and do what to do next. So you don't tell me at 6 o'clock, no, go do dance or go to this class. Like I will decide and do. So that is the autonomy they probably want. Or there could be some issue with, like, say, transition. So I'm sitting on my homework now, or I'm playing outside now. Now come and have your dinner or go freshen up is a transition, right? Now, as a 6-year-old, maybe I'm not able to process that, right? So the need is, I need better transition support, or better processing time, or little more time, or some other technique, in which a way in which my mom tells me, so that I can do it myself, not forcefully, but I can do it myself, but you give me 3 minutes extra, right? So instead of telling come right now, if I say, okay, you have 5 more minutes, I'll remind you once more. Maybe that will help the brain, the 6-year-old brain, to process and say, okay, Abhi, next time when Amma comes and tells, I'll have to stop this and do the next, right? So try and use. So this is, I'm hoping others are also listening in, and please cover it for other age, absolutely, right? So which is why I have kept this frame. We have it for 0 to 16. We have a basic idea. Okay, certain behaviors are actually not misbehavior; they are normal, and they are normal because they are becoming due to a need. Okay, this much we have agreed. So I've started with an example of 0 to 2 years old. Now we can look at more examples as well. Or would love to see in the chat if you can list a few more problems like this. So mention your child's age and the behavior problem that you're seeing, or the problem that the child is showing. So I'll wait for a few responses. We may pick one or two and then look at it from this lens. We'll try and do it together so others also get an idea. So what I wish will happen at the end of the session is not that I'll give you 10 different ideas on to try with your child, but this one thing, this one tool for you to practice. Because now if you know, okay, control, if I'm trying to control with my reaction in harsh ways, it's going to be damaging. But if I'm correcting or connecting, something different is happening. Some of us have experienced that. A lot of us are not able to do that because we don't understand why. Like, why is she not listening? I've told 100 times and still you're doing the same thing. I've heard this as I was growing up. I heard this, and sadly I sometimes use this dialogue with my daughter also, right? But then if I understand, okay, behind the behavior, no matter I tell 1,000 times, now the 1,001st time I should tell something different. This is something I put as a reminder to all of us as parents. So I'm seeing a few things coming up in the chat, right? So I was saying, if I've tried something 100 times and the child has not picked it up, then I am the slow learner, not the child. Because I have tried the same thing 100 times, the child has not picked up, then next time I should be trying something different, not the child, right? So that, with that in mind and with this framework in mind, see if we can. Let me quickly, so 5 years, 9 years, 6 to 9 years with example, okay. Daughter is 5 and transition period of 5 to 10 minutes never ends. Lecture, okay. Angry when screen time is restricted, how to deal with it. 5 and 9 years, dinner, lunch, response, transition. Okay. My son is 7 years, never listen. He doesn't like to read and doesn't concentrate. Same with my case. 10-year-old not reading, not sharing much information related to school. 8 years, very aggressive, screams when you try to explain to her. 9 years. Okay, a lot of them in the 6 to 9 age group, I see. 5-year-old TV. So TV screen is coming a lot. Transition is coming a lot. Okay. While studying or writing, in between playing with stationery. Okay. Distraction. So transition, distraction, uh, TV screen or screen. I'm afraid to call it addiction, but then there is dependency or screen dependency. Eating habits. Okay. Now we'll have to try and classify also. This again, as a parent myself, I'd say, like, what we are sharing, like, is it a habit, is it a character, is it a behavior, right? Behavior is an action that is not, that we are not happy about and they continue doing it. It eventually becomes a habit. So eating habit, screen time habit, all of these are habits. Now the habit has taken some time to form, right? The habit has taken some time to form, and it will take equal or double the effort to come out of. So just wanted to put that, like, very realistically put that there, right? So if I'm looking at A and B, C, B is the behavior. The behavior over a period has become a habit. Then it is hard work. It is possible if I look at the same way. If I'm looking at a correction or a connection, right, and activating something different for the child, it is possible to break out of the habit. But as grown-ups, we ourselves know how difficult for us it is to come out of a habit. So it takes some work. But remember the same framework. It cannot come with control. It cannot come with power. It has to come with some connection and correction that we are able to do. And for which we need to understand what the hidden need is. Not what we say. They want screen, so that's why he's not coming out of screen is not the need. Right? If I can take that as an example, not eating, focusing, but showing interest in others. Okay, right? So let's try and take this example of screen itself, because that's coming recurring and across age. I think 6 years, 7 years, 9 years, 10 years, all of them are talking about screens, right? Okay, so I actually, so if you look at this, actually had an example that I put down here. So let's take this a quick thumbs up, and we'll try and look at this a little in detail. And remember, this is not a quick answer thing. So whatever I share here, it's not like a magic trick that you can go and like suddenly they'll stop looking at screen. But talking back when screen is stopped, or screaming or misbehaving when screen is stopped. Just a few thumbs up or a few reactions if we can go ahead with that, and I'll look into it. Right. So this was okay. Perfect. Perfect. A lot of thumbs up coming in. Right. So this one, let's look at it from the same lens, A and B and C. Right. Now the activating event for the misbehavior is parent action. No? So I say you better stop now, or I'll take away the phone, or I'll switch off the TV. Right. Now the need is the most crucial part for us to find out. So for all of this, all of you who have put a thumbs up and others as well, like what do you think the need is? You can type in the chat. I'll try and edit it here. Quickly, the screen went off. Okay. Their demand needs to be okay. Dopamine, okay. Colorful videos are tempting to watch, entertainment. Their demand needs to be fulfilled just to kick the boredom. Nice. I'm liking how you're sharing. So we understand the need is not the screen. It's not the content in the screen. It's not their favorite cartoon that they want to watch, or it's not the shorts or reels they're watching. The need is something deep inside, right? So let's see from what people have shared in the chat. So dopamine, Harsh has mentioned. I'll come back to you, Harsh. I would love to hear an example around that. Colorful videos are tempting, so they watch endlessly. So now the question is, what need is this colorful video fulfilling? Right. So colorful video is not the need, but it is fulfilling some need. Right. Entertainment is not the need. Why they want to be entertained on the screen becomes the need. So tell me if it's difficult, you can type in the chat, or see if you can think beyond the reason that you're giving. Right? Not interested in another things is not the need for screen. I feel like from what I've seen, or because they are bored, they are using the screen. They want to get engaged, doing something. She suddenly divert from to come out of boredom, basically to escape some feelings, past moments. Okay, right now. Let's see. I'll just go back to this piece. Just if you look at the screen, so it's a 6 to 9 year old or a 10 to 12 year old. Uh, in the case of which you're saying I'm taking away the screen, or I'm asking them to stop the screen, there is some misbehavior, right? Now, all of us shared some needs, which is like boredom. They want to be engaged, entertainment. Whatever is there is attractive. That is why they are going to it. That is why they are using the screen. Okay, but what need? If I come back to this, can you think of any need that is coming in here?
Non-judgment.
Non-judgment. Okay, some being non-judgmental. Somebody else being non-judgmental is a need for the child. Absolutely. Okay. Anything else in this example of screen?
I think
Also
for them the real word is little boring, right? No, it's not
boredom.
as colorful as you see it on the screen. That's what they crave for.
Could be. Any other reasons? Any other needs?
I think the personal time that someone from the family has to spend.
Maybe. So you're coming to the solution or possible solutions, like a strategy. Okay, maybe somebody spends more time, they may I don't know.
Emotions which they are not able to process. They don't know how to process it.
Okay, so there is, so we're now talking about a missing skill. So there is something missing in terms of their skill or ability, because of which they're going back to it, right? Why they go to it could be boredom, could be entertainment, could be because the screen has something more colorful and lively. But the need that it is fulfilling, see, people who are raising hands, you can feel free to unmute and share off, because I also get distracted, or I'm not able to keep track of who all are raising hands. So just feel free to share, right? So we'll try and come back to this. Okay, I thought I'll edit, but I'm not able to edit here. Screen, but go. Okay, right. So the need identification seems a little tricky, right? It's not as easy as what we are feeling. Now that list is also not happening. The list helps to some extent. Okay, emotional safety, someone said, non-judgmental, someone said. Now let's think of it in two ways for the consequence. Okay. Now, what do I want to happen immediately for people who have been talking about the screen transition? Now, immediately, what do I want to happen? Long term, what do I want to happen? If anyone can share. So I think then, if the screen has become a habit, like I said, the consequence and the way we approach it has to be layered, has to be step by step. If it's an immediate behavior, okay, I want him to stop now and take it later. I want to stop looking at the screen and come have dinner, right? That will not solve the screen addiction problem. That will not solve the emotional safety problem. That will not solve the need, the temptation to go back to screen. But I want my 9-year-old or 10-year-old to listen to me in that moment, even though the screen is a lot more entertaining, right? So if I come to the consequence part of it, what are the things I would do if I'm controlling, or what would I do if I'm correcting, or if I'm looking at a connection? Anyone wants to try?
Connection is probably timed screen time or something like that. Probably tell them that if you complete this activity, not just, it is not kind of bribing, but make them understand that they own the responsibility for completing certain task, and then as a result they get something. So
Right. So here's, okay. I'm glad that you said this. So here's something that happens in the NBC story, right? Your C becomes the A, right? If your C becomes the A, now exactly like you said, if your C, if your correction or your connection involved, now connection doesn't mean I can in 1 hour sit and connect with him and tell all of this, right? So that becomes layered. But if in my connection, if I am creating or agreeing to something, especially older kids, then that becomes the A next time. So next time I cannot randomly shout from the kitchen or from outside, hey, are you still watching TVs? Turn it off. So that goes back to control. So your A, the activating event will look like control. But if your activating event needs to look like connection, then exactly like you said, we may need to agree upon, okay, I will not shout from there in front of everybody and ask you to, I'll not shame you, right? Because now if I go back to the need for a 6 to 9-year-old or a 10-year-old, right? Being non-judgmental. So I'm looking at the screen, you're talking as if you're already judged me for what I'm looking at it. Or you're not validating the fact that I am bored and I need this time, right? Or you're making me feel incompetent by shouting like that in front of the family to like turn off the screen, or making me do something in front of others, right? Now this is not fair for a 9-year-old, right? They feel. So now your correction or connection has to keep this in mind, right? And in turn, next time you react also, the next time you see that behavior, how you say it out or how you remind or what you do naturally has to be in the correction or the connection mode. Does that make sense? Just a quick thumbs up if those who heard and found it relevant. If this makes sense. Now, the A and B C cycle is something you're getting. Now, the C is the beginning of A. Now, that should happen a few times, many times, for the B to change. This picture makes sense? And if the B has become a very strong habit, something like screen or something like eating habit, then the C, A, and B, that cycle needs to happen. But the parent's role, like my role, is connection more than control or correction, right? So let's see. I'm also like, somebody also give me a time check, because I remember 6:15 being mentioned. Vipa,
Yeah,
like,
no, it's 6:15. It's 6:15.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So okay, so I just quickly wanted to make sure this has come across, like from the examples we took, right? And thank you all those who engaged and shared the example. So like that's something I saw in the questions as well. A lot of what you shared right now in chat about potential misbehaviors. Now take a look at this just to get an understanding from the examples we saw. We saw control, correction, connection. I think we generally agree that control techniques are damaging. They may get the work done, they may obey, they may quickly stop doing something, but we know it's damaging. So when you're talking about discipline without the damage, we are looking at option 2 or option 3, right? Now option 2, some of you I saw in the chat also share, it works sometimes, it has worked, we have tried, right? It requires us to be a lot more calm, us to be a little more calm when instead of reacting, we need to be trying to explain to them. But as I put here, it's like teaching at the wrong time. So I think when you're in the middle of the behavior, whether it's a tantrum or whether they are in a no mode or whether they are disobeying or talking back, I think again, most of us agree, like that's probably not the best time to teach or correct them. So then the only option left with us is the connection piece, because once you connect, then I can go back and correct, and then I can go back and control as well with rules, right? Now for a 10-year-old or 11-year-old or a 7-year-old, if I've done the connection, if I've talked about the correction next, then if we have agreed, okay, if you do this, I will do this. Or if I say this one time, do you agree to do it? If I say this the second time, if it doesn't happen, then I will do this. So all of this can happen if you put the order in reverse. So first connect, then correct, then control, right? So 2 cycles to remember, A and B, C, right? And in that, the C is a tricky one. The C is a choice, actually. So C is not a consequence, C is a choice. And that choice we are talking about is the connection, right? So it takes work. Like I said, I think all of us are doing a lot of hard work. A lot of us have the best intentions in mind. But at the same time, the little things that frustrate them are the same things that frustrate us, right? If it needs to get better for them, I think we have to, as parents, try and understand the basic need. I think if you can, as a little homework, as you go back today, so many of you have written in the chat about the problems or the misbehaviors you have. Right now, I am not the answer giver. I can give the tool. That tool is A and B, C, and C is a choice. C is not the consequence. C is a choice. Now that choice, what are the ways in which I can choose, right? So this is what I wanted to leave you with. I'll take a pause now. I know like this hasn't given definitive answers, but do you think it will be useful, and as a small activity today, as an attempt to try and do something different the 100th time? Like I've told 100 times and nothing has changed. So the next one time, the 101st time, can I actually pause as a parent? Can I actually pause, look back at ways in which I can connect? Right now, I'm not. Let me be very clear. And I heard, and I'm sure all of us as parents have come across gentle parenting, be nice, blah blah, blah, a lot of things. And I'm not even saying right or wrong there. I'm saying like this is the framework. you can choose depending on your need. If I am having a very long day and a frustrating day, of course I'm going to pick control. Unless I have corrected and corrected and I have some technique to use later, right? Now, those techniques I've shared 3 here on the screen. We'll take a few 2-3 minutes to just quickly go through this. Very self-explanatory, right? But the things to notice is it's not lecturing, it's not teaching, so it's not the correction mode, it's the connecting mode. For the connecting mode, very few simple things, no matter what age your child is. The first option is to connect, basically acknowledge the feeling. I can see that you are angry, right? If my teenager is talking back to me, how dare you talk? I am also angry now, I'll be angry at you. That is control, right? Hey, you should not talk like that. I'm like, you should talk respectfully. That is correction in the moment. But if I say instead, hey, I can see that you're angry, tell me more, like as little words as possible, not lecturing, not teaching, not correcting, but simply acknowledging that. That is the starting point of connection. It may be hard to do if you haven't tried it before. The same goes with, I think, if all of us, like as a husband and wife, as a couple also, if you had a hard day and if you're arguing about something, right, try saying this instead of a counter attack to what your partner is saying, right? I see that you're angry at me. Pause, right? It's easy to say, but it's the most powerful thing. I can vouch for that for any relationship, and especially with your children. Connect first. Go low and slow. It's most common thing we say, especially to children. Go low is basically go to their height, especially very younger children. Teenagers are probably taller than you now, right? They're probably looking you in the eye and like talking back. But go slow then, right? Connect and go slow. Simple. Lower your voice. Like I would tell my teenager, even if I had them, like, or in a school, I would say, like, see, I'm not going to compete with you on a voice competition. So I'm not going to talk anywhere louder than you, right? Let's talk. Simple, right? So that lowering the voice is enough for a teenager if they're taller than you. If the child is smaller than you, obviously get down on your knee, hold them, go slow, right? Once you have this case, a drop of flag is, again, it's a simple technique of just using a word, but a word that you agreed upon, right? So you've told 3 times, they're not switched off the screen, right? So I say, we decide, okay, it's a red card. We agreed, okay, when I say a red card, it has to go off, right? So now I'm not going to give a lecture. I'm not going to remind, I've told you 100 times, 1,000 times, why are you not listening? I'm going to say, red card, either you off it or I'm going to off it, right? So this can happen only if you've gone back to the whole loop of connection, correction, and control. Yeah. So I'll pause here. I know in terms of time as well. So just quickly opening it up. If there are questions or if there's anything else we need to, I think the feedback form is something we'd mentioned, no, Kripa? So like over to you, like anything else you want to share?
No, that was an amazing session, Anu. Thank you so much. Very insightful. I remember studying about the ABC model when I was a student. You're putting in the need. That is something that the parents could understand. Why is it need to for a behavior to happen? That is very insightful, and I hope our parents learned a little more about how to be, better our people. And yeah, that was so amazing. Thank you so much, Anu.
Thank
That's all, parents. Please be sure to fill in the feedback form. And yeah, thank you so much, parents.
Parents, you can also drop in your uh, quick feedback even on the chat so that even Anup knows how his session
Absolutely.
went.
Just one word,
Yeah,
one word.
one
If
word
you're
would do.
confused, mention confused. Completely fine. I think if you're confused, it's a good point to go back to thinking, right? Or if it's useful, if it is useful, just a thumbs up. Any word would do. And thank you so much for patiently taking your time out as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just saw somebody mention show the slide for the older kids. So I think we are closing, but if you're still there, the basic idea is the slide doesn't have a ready-made answer. Thank you. Thank you for the comments coming in. Thank you so much.
Kripa, can we click one picture with all the parents, like their camera on?
Yes, dear parents, please turn on your cameras so we can document the special moment. Please give us your best smile so we can take a picture. Thank you. I can see all smiles right now. Farzan, are we good?
All the parents just turn on their cameras. Like we'll wait for 1-2 minutes and then I'll take the picture.
Done.
Yeah, I'm clicking the picture.
Yeah. Big smiles, everyone.
Thank you. Wow.
Okay. Thank you so much for everyone for joining us and being part of the session. Thank you so much, Anup, for this amazing session. And also parents taking your time out from your Saturdays and doing this. And we are very much grateful. Yeah, thank you and have a good rest of the weekend. You may leave.